3, 2, 1.
How long after we're declared overdue can we expect a rescue?
17 days.
17 days? Hey, man, I don't want to rain on your parade. We're not going to last 17 hours. Those things are going to come in here just like they did before, and they're going to come in here, and they're going to come in here, and they're going to get us!
This little girl survived longer than that with no weapons and no training. Right?
Why don't you put her in charge?
You better just start dealing with it, Hudson. Listen to me. Hudson, just deal with it because we need you, and I'm sick of your bullshit. Now, I want you to get on a terminal and call up some kind of floor plan file. Do you understand? Construction blueprints. I don't care. Anything that shows the layout of this place. Are you listening?
Yeah.
I need to see air ducts. I need to see electrical access tunnels, sub-basements, every possible way into this complex.
Hello, and welcome to the best movie ever made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind, to find the best movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ackman. I'm joined by my co-hosts and fellow mad scientists, Rob Scucci and Bob Hasek. Hey, guys, how are you, and why are we doing aliens instead of aliens? Sorry, Bob. Go ahead, Rob.
I am doing great, but there's one glaring problem. It might be a catch-all issue. I'm going to bring it up now. I have not seen either Alien or Aliens in a very long time.
Yeah.
And since that time has passed, we've watched The Dark backward. And Bill Paxton is great in this, but all I can do is like, I ate a dog once. What is he yelling? Clams and castor oil. How you doing, Bob?
It's kind of the same thing for me. All I can hear is what was the thing he said? He said he was talking to the two. Shirley,
Who
cares?
Who cares?
That's all I can hear. But yeah, same with me. I didn't watch these since they first came out on cable when I was a kid. And I rewatched them both since we announced this, and I've made my decision. So I'm ready to explain it.
All right.
Daddy, I'm scared. Where's my puppy?
Please, Debbie, not now.
Don't worry. Bob's going to tell you where that puppy is. And Bob explains.
Hooray.
All right, ready for this one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Facehuggers are fellated by fellows and females to form fierce foes.
That is really good. That is really good.
Fellows and females to what? Fierce foes? To fight fierce foes?
To form fierce foes.
All right, cool.
Fierce indeed.
Okay, so Ripley, that's our hero, our heroine. Ripley survives the original alien attack in hypersleep for 57 years. She's awakened and nearly instantly punished for destroying the ship. Though it wasn't really her fault.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll explain that later. Fast forward a bit. She's asked to accompany some Marines to eliminate/investigate alien activity at the company's purely automated establishment. They all get ambushed by aliens, and Ripley is nearly the sole survivor again.
Yeah, just about.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right, let's throw it to YouTube.
Sure, let's do that.
You know the word.
Comments are poopy.
He doesn't want you anymore. Now that I don't want you.
Okay, so first comment.
James Cameron!
It's absolutely incredible. He made this and Terminator 2 arguably the best sequels ever made. Next comment. This movie still holds up perfectly. Even the effects look mostly fine. Can't imagine how great it must have been seeing it in a theater in 86 ahead of its time.
Yeah, for real. I agree.
Next comment. I can't imagine how amazing this would have looked in 86. For 1986, it was very realistic.
James Cameron!
Always makes a masterpiece. My favorite movie of all time. Last comment. Ridley focused on horror.
James Cameron!
Focused on terror.
Please, oh my God. Can you, every time I say James Cameron?
That's the...
James Cameron!
That's the joke.
Yes!
I haven't seen that guy in so long. Is he still doing it?
Yeah.
He's raising the bar.
He had a museum for a while, and then a vape shop, and then the vape shop got sold. So now he has to move all the stuff back to his house.
Damn, that's too bad. Titanic fan 97.
Yeah, on TikTok. He's got like
Yeah.
3,000 copies of Titanic on VHS now. He's going for 1 million.
Right. He'll get there. There. Were there 1 million copies made?
There are like 80
Easily.
million copies made. Yeah.
Easily.
Okay, so he wants 1/8 of the total population of VHS.
He wants 1/80. He wants 1/80th of the entire.
He wants
Yeah.
1 million of 8 million?
No, there's like 80 million copies.
There's
It-
80 million copies?
It's sold a
on VHS?
shitload. We're getting sidetracked, but I will look it up throughout the episode and report back, okay?
Holy shit, I guess we have to do that as a good movie episode. All right.
No, we don't.
Let's throw it to
No.
No, we don't. Test number 1, the best of its kind. Test number 1, the best of its kind. Alien 3, Sigourney Weaver, a 44, a sharp decline. That's
Yeah.
a 50% drop from this one.
Yeah.
Wait, no, you didn't hear me say that. Predator 2, Danny Glover, a 30.
Mm.
Terminator 3 with Arnold, a 70.
Terminator 3.
Twister, Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt, almost a 70 because it's so good.
7.
A 66, and The Crow with Brandon Lee in 87.
Yeah.
An average of 59.4. If you did the math, you already know. But why don't you guess what Aliens got on Rotten Tomatoes?
I wasn't paying attention. 80%.
Same.
A 94.
All right. That's.
Too much. It's too high.
It's a little. You're right.
You got to realize though.
It'd be an 87.
Rotten
an 86
Tomatoes.
for the year.
Rotten Tomatoes does factor in the reviews from when it came out though, and it was goddamn groundbreaking at the time. You know.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's easy to
in the same. So
it's easy to anachronistically look at it. But
here is here. Okay, so I have it in the catch-all, but I knew it would come up beforehand. We need a worst movie ever made double feature redo, and to redeem ourselves in the minds and eyes of our audience, we ought to do Alien and Terminator. Because what we did were the successful sequels that were like Michael Bay versions of the creative original idea.
They weren't Michael Bay. They were
James Cameron.
Yeah, you ain't lying. But yeah, so best movie of its kind and 34.6% above the average, which is, means it's a very good movie. And I agree with that. I think that it should be better than The Crow, though. No offense, Rob. I think it's a better movie than The Crow. I'd rather watch this than The Crow 9 times out of 10. 1 time out of 10, I'd watch The Crow instead.
Yeah.
Let's throw it to test number 2. Ain't that a bitch? Test number 2. Ain't that a bitch?
Who's going first?
I'll go first. Mine's not funny. It's
Okay.
just like... All right, you ready? Well, it's a little funny, maybe.
Okay.
Terraforming planets is no easy job, especially when aliens impregnate and murder your mom. So when everyone is dead, find a place aliens can't get and wait for Ripley to save you from a world-destroying bomb.
All right.
Okay.
You took the exposition route. Nothing wrong with that.
I explained the movie, and I thought the aliens impregnating and murdering your mom was kind of funny, which it shouldn't be.
It's pretty funny.
That was my.
It's pretty funny.
I'll
Okay,
go
who's
next. I'll go next. Okay. Having a feeling this will be seriously debated, especially considering how highly this is rated. This is the second consecutive feature where Ripley fights off the creatures, though in my opinion, it's severely overrated.
All right.
Severely. Oh my god! All right, we're gonna have at it.
Work on your qualifiers, Bob. Weaver, Paxton, that other guy, and Newt arm all their weapons so xenomorphs they could shoot. Something goes wrong with their plan. That's it. Game over, man. Bishop gets ripped in half and shows all his goo.
He does. All right, I'll go Rob 5. Why not?
Yeah.
I might as well give him the credit while it doesn't matter. Let's throw it to test number 3.
Fuck you.
What works well? Test number 3. What works well? Okay. So I knew Bob was coming out with grenade launchers and sentries and all sorts of ammunition here. So
Yeah.
I went deeper in what works well than I normally do because Bob doesn't agree.
Right.
But this first one's very surface level, and that is Bill Paxton. Works well in this movie.
I agree.
5.
I agree.
Number.
He does work well.
I already played it. I'm typing now. Okay.
Yes, he does. I love his character, and we'll get into that a little bit more after I say number.
4.
Supremely sophisticated set designs.
Yeah, I agree also.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Absolutely.
I don't hate the movie. I just don't think it's anyway. I agree.
Number
3.
quick creation of complex characters. Let's think about Hicks, Hudson, Burke, Gorman, Bishop, Vasquez, Drake, even Captain Amon.
This is what they did with Predator, when their initial helicopter trip out into the jungle, their rapport amongst each other is like they had to have just been palling around like 2 months before the production of this movie because like their banter was so snappy and back.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like they knew each other and they had been doing this for a while, and this was just another day in their life. And well done.
100%.
So 2 things.
I mean, I go ahead.
One, I think Predator did it better. That's my opinion.
Okay. Fine.
But secondly,
They did it faster.
They did. So secondly, James Cameron actually filmed. So you know when the characters. Cameron! There it is. You know when the characters first come together and they're like meeting and like introducing the characters, they actually filmed that at the end of the movie, at the end of the shooting, because by then they really had spent a lot of time together and had a rapport. And I thought that was kind of smart.
Yeah.
Nice.
I agree with that. Hicks is Michael Biehn. I don't have a lot to say on the whether or not he's complicated. He's not very complicated. He's just the straight man of the group, the good guy. But Hudson, I mean, you get the idea of what Bill Paxton is. He's like smarmy. He's like kind of a little bitch, but he also is a jokester, and he does hack into the system. He does know how to override the door. He does know how to use his weapon. I like how complicated he was. He wasn't a little bitch, even though he's
competent. He's competent, but he's a slave to his nerves. Like he if someone's fucking just like slaps him in the face and tells him what his objective is, he'll like get right to it, but he's gonna complain.
Yeah. And I really thought that they did a great job of making him a unique character. Burke, he's kind of slimy in the beginning. And then how slimy he becomes is insane. Gorman, the level of development they did to make this commander, an inexperienced one, and then him like showing how inexperienced he was so quickly, I thought was great. Bishop, the level of suspicion you have about this android.
Because of Ash,
that they intentionally developed the entire movie until you realize at the end, even after he's done good things for the cast, you're still suspicious, but at the end, you're like, he is a good dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Vasquez and Drake, their relationship is great. And the captain, I don't know if it's a Roan or a Mon, I don't remember, but like just cool characters that they established really quickly. So let's throw it to number 2. Excluding irrelevant explanation. Okay, because this ruins movies. I'm talking about hypersleep, the corporation, terraforming tech, androids, alien anatomy. We don't know. We don't have to know about this shit.
Yeah.
It's all established. You made it like linchpins in the story, and we don't need to have a further explanation. Movies ruin themselves when they go deep into the anatomy of the alien.
They assume you saw the first one, and they assume you're smart enough to put it together.
Yeah. Why did Why did Paul Reiser's character want to bring an alien back? That I didn't understand.
They wanted to weaponize it, or like they wanted to use its They wanted to use its biology to like. It had acid blood. If they could find a way to synthetically replicate that and like just like hook up the queen alien to like an acid pump and just like, you know,
domesticate these like crazy alien things.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. But yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
It was a bad idea, and that was supposed to be clear that it was a bad idea. Like, you're right, Bob. It's too much a bad idea for any government corporation thing, like combo, to do. But, you know, corporate greed, so I'm going to say this still plays well. Let's go to number 1. I wrote hovering over hopelessness, crafting claustrophobia, manifesting man, and forging a franchise by fulfilling fans' fantasies of a fire second film.
I'm not writing all that down, dude. Unless you repeat it again slowly.
No. They make you feel hopeless. They make you feel claustrophobic. They make you feel like it's total chaos. They deliver on the best sequel you can hope for, in my opinion. Like, it could have been a little better, Bob. You're right. It's not severely overrated, but it's a good sequel. And in my opinion, when you make a good sequel, you cement a franchise. This happens here. It happens. Let's see. I had a few picked out in my mind. Terminator 2, of course, is another good example.
Yeah, but then
I don't want to use Indiana Jones, but because I don't particularly like Temple of Doom. But you know, when you have a successful sequel, you have a franchise.
But
Empire Strikes Back,
and then you run it into the ground with the next 10 films.
Yes, and then you run it into the ground by milking the cow until the cow like milks blood and dies of blood loss or whatever.
Sure.
All right, let's throw it to your ad read, Rob.
Hi, Billy Mays here for Mighty Putty. Hi, Billy Mays here for Mighty Mendit. Hi, Billy Mays here for Mighty Shine. Hi, Billy Mays here with Sorbies. Hi, Billy Mays here with the Awesome Auger.
Rob's ad read.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by the realization that it was all a dream. A long, sick, touch-starved, emotionally absent fever dream. You're back in the motel. There was no wild adventure. The government, as far as you know, remains intact. No air ducts, no hollow point glizzy blasts, just the familiar taste of radiator gin and bathtub hooch to help stave off the seizures, while you wait for your monthly disability payment to hit your account so you can get a bottle of the good stuff. Not a hot dog in sight, but you've got a guy. You suit up to meet Mr. Meyer behind the 7-Eleven dumpster that's within eyeshot from your humble, no, your decrepit abode. Those spinning weenies that are past their prime, they get bagged up and tossed in the gutter. You look in the mirror, and you see a spinning weenie past his prime staring right back at you. The neon lights stab through your blinds, revealing your 5 o'clock shadow and desert-dry tear ducts. You'd cry if there was anything left to cry out of nowhere, but expect it all the same. Your phone lights up while an impatient knock on the motel door permeates through your empty head simultaneously. It's time, he says. I know, you reply. You look at the vintage yard sale cat clock on the wall, its tail wagging with impatience, but in lockstep with each preceding second. You let out a defeated sigh, get on your hot dog waiting galoshes, and say to your guest, or are you saying it to yourself? It's 3 o'clock somewhere.
That was amazing.
Yes, thank you so much for the vivid detail of that rundown hotel room you're renting out while eating your 3 a.m. hot dogs. Yeah. We very much appreciate you guys for sponsoring, as always, 3 a.m. hot dogs. So thank you so much. Why don't we throw it now to test number 4, the best dialogue.
Test number 4, the best dialogue.
All right, Bob, here's where you're going to score a couple points. You're in the best acting. The dialogue's pretty good. Not the best dialogue I've ever heard. The acting's pretty good.
It's an action movie. I give it a pass.
Yeah. All right, let's go to number 5. This is Coco.
Try this. It's a little hot chocolate. Here you go. Whoop. That good, huh? Uh-oh. I made a clean spot here. Now I've done it. Guess I'll have to do the whole thing.
Shut the fuck up. Sorry.
Hard to believe there's a little girl under all this. And a pretty one, too. You don't talk much, do you?
Right.
So she successfully coaxes this girl into speaking out of her hysteria, which is well founded. I would also be a mute maybe after a mute Newt after I spent weeks, months, a year in the ventilation shafts of this place, avoiding aliens that want to impregnate me and murder me like they did my mom. So good job on Ridley for getting this kid back to responsive. I also like that she says it's hard to believe that there's a pretty girl underneath all of this, because there's some parallel between her and the kid then. Like, there is a strong woman under all this military bullshit that she's going through, all this alien defeating too. There's this beautiful woman underneath all of that. I like how she deals with the cat and the kid. She is a bitch back to the cat, and she's super soft to the kid. And I just think that it does some amazing work making Ripley relatable. So that's why I picked it for number 5. Let's throw it to number
4. Yarg.
This is Destroy Them.
Hello. Ripley. You okay?
Just tell me one thing, Burke. You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study, not to bring back, but to wipe them out.
That's the plan. You have my word on it.
Oh, the double crosser.
All right, I'm in.
I think...
And you little shithead. You're staying here.
I like how she cuts the feed off before he has a chance to reply after she got the answer she wanted. She's like, boom. Nope. Sorry. Nope. No backsies. I like that.
And this is obvious foreshadowing, but you don't know it if this is your first view. You don't know Burke is a piece of shit yet. You that's what this movie does well, is that you think he's that 80s heartthrobby, nerdy kind of good guy. Until you realize the depth of his depravity. So
yeah, you think he's got his back against the wall, and he's just following orders but doing what he can to make to mitigate between both parties. But no, he's all on one side.
Yeah,
I like that.
And Bob obviously agrees with all the points I've made so far.
Severely overrated, but I mean, they really not without lack of trying.
I can tell because you haven't said a fucking word. All right, let's throw it to Paxton. Fine, whatever. Go ahead, Bob. And number 3, this is 3. Bug Out.
Look, let's just bug out and call it even, okay? What are we talking about this for?
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Fucking A.
Oh, hold on 1 second. This installation has a substantial dollar value attached to it.
They can bill me.
Okay, look. This is an emotional moment for all of us, okay? I know that. But let's not make snap judgments, please. This is clearly an important species we're dealing with, and I don't think that you or I or anybody has the right to arbitrarily exterminate them.
Wrong.
Yeah, watch us.
Hey, maybe you haven't been keeping up on current events, but we just got our asses kicked, pal.
Look, I'm not blind to what's going on, but I cannot authorize that kind of action. I'm sorry.
Shirley, Turley, Pearly, who cares? For the rest of my life, ruined.
That is how right there is how you know Burke is evil, though, because fighting for the dollar value of the terraforming operation.
Yeah.
But you know what? He has a decent point because we talk about this on the pod a lot. There is genocide going on, and we're talking about an entire species population on the planet. I mean, we know that there are other planets that they exist on at this point, but we're talking about wiping out all of the life of this organism that's just doing what it does on this planet, and that's actually kind of fucked up. So I'm kind of with Burke a little bit. I don't want to be, because he's obviously evil. But.
Did Burke ever say? We did listen to the clip. He never outright says like you can't commit genocide. So
he's like, yeah, you don't want to destroy the entire population of this living creature.
He was concerned about dollar value. That's all that mattered.
Of course he was. Of course
which went
he was. But like
which went to his character.
Yeah.
But his plan B was to bring up, you don't want to destroy the entire population because, it's a living creature. He does, spell that out in that clip there. So, not as well as we do, but, you can't be as smart as we are, ever. And that's why we're so good at making fun of bad movies. Let's throw it to number 2. This is Paxton as well. This is Work Here. Quick one.
I'm not making that out too well. What is it, Hudson?
You tell me, man. I only work here.
Yeah. That's the attitude to have, man. That is the attitude to have. Anything.
But it's an amazing response, and there is another line that I'm going to bring up in the catch-all that might have superseded this one, and I'm wishing now that I had put it in there. But Bill Paxton has that snarky response kind of deal. What they're looking at is it looks like they're inside a fucking whale, kind of.
Yeah.
There's ribs and fucking slimy, organic looking material all over the walls, and you don't know what it is. And obviously, Bill Paxton's Hudson does not know what it is either. So it's kind of funny when Commander Gorman or whatever is like, "What is that? I don't know what I'm looking at." He's like, "I don't fucking know. Are you kidding me? Let me tell you exactly what this organic material draped all over the walls is." He's like, "I don't know, man. I work here. You tell me."
Yeah.
Which I kind of loved, and it summed up Bill Paxton's character pretty well. But that doesn't compare to number
1, Daddy. You know what? Fuck it.
And I'm sorry that this makes me a basic, but number 1 is called Bitch.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Yeah, Sigourney in a mech suit.
I mean, I don't know, the strong female character crescendo there.
Yeah.
This is her taking on the alien mother in her mech suit that they worked in before because the whole reason that they have her responsible for the destruction of the ship is so that they put her in a lowly job, which is loading up giant heavy crates with this mech suit so that later in the movie she can have the mech suit to fight the alien mother.
Yeah.
Right. So that explains why they did that. And it is her entire character built over 2 movies in one quick line.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was deserving of the.
How do you feel about, for the write-up, forklift foreshadowing?
Oh yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So much. Hey Bob, how are you?
I have some problems with the mech suit, but I'll talk about that in the catch-all.
Okay. Cool.
All right. You know what? I don't need to probe Bob because we're throwing it to him anyway. In test number 5, this is the best production. Tell us about it, Bob. Test number 5, the best production.
In some cases, in the case of this podcast, I'm a company man. Okay, I will give this movie its fair shake. Practical effects is what I call best production.
Fuck yeah!
Oh yeah.
I will give the internet this much. Okay, the film's production is very well documented. albeit fraught with conflicting opinions of James Cameron's.
James Cameron!
Thank you. Behavior / attitude. Anyhow, the practical effects, the practical creature effects were top notch.
Yeah.
Although how about this one? The original designer / creator of the alien was not asked to be involved with the sequel, which seems to trend because like Cameron just didn't want to have anything to do with the original that much.
Wait, who?
Anyway, who? Oh, it was James.
Oh, I got a hotkey. 1 second.
James Cameron.
Okay. So, as this is a pre-CGI era, the creature movements and deaths, the facehugger in the tank, the overall set design of the Queen's egg lair, they were all well done, very well done.
Yes.
And a lot of it was done. A lot of it was done with miniatures, which saved them tons of money in the end game. So well done on the practical effects department.
Yeah,
love that. Yeah, I felt like you can tell, like you were pretty sure when the flying machine thing, I can't call it a plane, I can't call it a helicopter, I don't know, they're like rescue ship. Like definitely a miniature, like you can obviously tell.
Yeah.
And that's true in Terminator 2 as well, but it really doesn't ruin the mood, in my opinion. Like, it's close enough. You can tell, but like, it would look kind of like that. Just, with more detail or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's throw it to test number 6. This is the best acting.
Test number 6. The best acting.
All right, real quick. In the U.S., 25 million copies of Titanic were sold on VHS in the first 3 months. So that's just the first 3 months, and that's just the U.S. So that's a lot of copies of Titanic on VHS. By
James Cameron.
Go ahead.
This is number 1. Not going back.
Yeah, if you go. Come on, that's a second chance, kiddo. And I think personally for you, it would be the best thing in the world to get out there and face this thing. Get back on the horse.
Spare me, Burke. I've had my psych evaluation this month.
Yeah, I know. I've read it. You wake up every night, your sheets are soaking with sweat.
I said no, and I mean it. Now please leave. I am not going back, and I would not be any good to you if I did.
Okay. Would you do me a favor? Just think about it.
Just think about it. Bing.
So douchey.
Yeah.
He called her kiddo. She's like 144 years old.
Yeah, you're right with the timeline because she was like what, like 40 and then like 57.
Yeah, it's probably
like
she's like 100,
107.
Yeah. But yeah, he called her kiddo.
Yeah.
All right, let's throw it to number 2. This is protection.
What about your brother? What's his name?
Timmy.
Is Timmy around here too? Maybe hiding like you were. Any sisters? Mom and Dad? Newt, look at me. Where are they?
They're dead. All right, can I go now?
I'm sorry, Newt. Don't you think you'd be safer here with us? These people are here to protect you. They're soldiers.
It won't make any difference.
Jimmy.
All right, so I felt like I'm most uncomfortable with the best acting because like I had to bring the kid in because that was a pretty effective scene. elsewhere, and I included it, I think, in The Abusers. She is fucking awful. Awful. But she did a pretty effective job of just seeming like a traumatized child for the best dialogue there and the best acting that we just did. So I wanted to highlight that. Ripley, Sigourney Weaver working off of this kid that's not very good, and it works pretty well. And I was pretty happy with it. But let's, for now, throw it to number 3. This is harsh language.
Look, hey, Paul. Look, we can't have any firing in there. I want you to collect magazines from everybody.
Is he fucking crazy?
Hey, what the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Flame units only. I want rifles slung.
Sir,
Just do it, Sergeant. And no grenades.
All right, sweethearts. You heard the man. Pull him out. Come on, let's have him.
Yeah.
Pull him out.
I mean, I love the harsh language line, but you get the captain, you get the dude that says harsh language, you get Bill Paxton, you get Gorman, who, I hate to say it, the guy that played Captain Gorman, the sleazy kind of squirmy guy, he's pretty good.
Gorman's the one that said he was on 34 missions, and then he like mutters that they were simulated, and he's only been on 2.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he like takes the lead, and he has to like control the Marines that are doing this mission, and he utterly fails.
Yeah.
And I thought he did a really good job portraying that character.
He's
who,
like
by the way, is a complicated character and hard to portray.
He's like Milhouse and The Simpsons when they boys are feuding with like their doppelgangers from Shelbyville, and he's like, "I'll kick your butt," and he's like, "In Nintendo."
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's throw it to fact or no fact. I know all the signs pointed this way, but there was so much Bob-foolery.
Okay, but I know we can't be wrong. Look, the sign pointed this way.
Fact or no fact?
Any other nectar-gathering creature can create the same situation.
All right.
So aliens. Here's a little fact for the fact or no fact. So it was Alien 2 for the longest time. It was Alien 2. That was how it was pitched. But when Cameron was pitching to the studios, he wrote Alien with a $sign as the S.
I heard this recently.
And and that's what like helped sell it, and that's how it became Aliens. And I think that's smarmy, but anyway,
it is.
So that's what I'm calling the game, is Aliens with a $sign.
Okay,
love it.
Okay, so fact or no fact, I'm gonna read you 5 things. Tell me which one is false. Here we go. Yeah. First one. Shredded condoms were used to create tendons of the beast's ferocious jaws. Sorry.
Okay.
Second, the power plant and alien nest set was decommissioned power plant and reused. Sorry, was a decommissioned power plant and reused a few years later for Batman. You know, the Michael Keaton one.
Yeah. All right.
Third one. The android blood was milk, and after several days of filming, it was sour and foul smelling. Okay, fourth one. Lance Hendrickson, that was a bishop, suggested that Paxton's suggested that Paxton's hand be on his for the knife trick, something that wasn't in the script, and he actually nicked Paxton's hand during a reshoot of that scene. With a knife. And fifth, according to Bill Paxton, he improvised many of his lines, including "Game over, man, game over."
Okay. They looked like shredded condoms. So, possibly. Power plant was decommissioned and used a few years later for Batman. I believe that like 95% of the way, but it's probably reused for a movie that wasn't Batman or something like that. Or it was a power plant for Batman and it was just never used for this one. So there might be Bob-foolery. Android blood was milk, and several days of filming smelled. When I watched I watched these both back to back yesterday, Alien and Aliens, just to get the full scope. And when Ash was sweating in the first one, I thought it was milk. So the fact that Bob said that, just like, I have no reason not to believe that. Henriksen suggested that Paxton's hand be on his for the knife trick, and he nicked his hand during the reshoot. Maybe. What I think is BS, as much as I don't want it to be. I think
James Cameron
likes having full creative control over everything he does. And I'm trying to think, didn't he argue with Schwarzenegger over like the I'll be back or I will be back? And like he's like, no, I wrote the script, you're saying it as written.
Yeah.
After Schwarzenegger suggested like improvising one line of dialogue. I don't think Bill Paxton, as much as we love him on the show, has that kind of power over
James Cameron.
So I think that is the lie.
That's totally fair. Speaking of which, just going off of what you said, the android in the first Aliens film also has white, like blood or whatever.
Yeah, secretions.
So my sense on Bob Foolery this week is that the like android blood being milk might have been a first movie faux pas. And that the second movie, they were like, we don't want the entire set to smell like
let's
milk.
just use KY jelly instead. Yeah.
Just everybody come inside of this prop for 3 months.
Is coming coming inside the prop sock.
So going with number 3, Bob, are you regretting attaching yourself to this podcast yet? Go ahead, tell us what's fact and what's fiction.
Every week I'm thankful. But anyway, Chris, you had the right idea. I did steal one of these from the original movie, but that wasn't the one. I'm sorry.
Damn it.
The one I stole from the original movie was that shredded condoms were used to create tendons of the beast's ferocious jaws. That was from the first Alien only.
Oh,
damn.
This movie didn't do that.
How did we not get that one?
So the power plant and alien nest were reused for Batman. The android blood was milk, and Sigourney Weaver actually mentioned how bad it smelled. Hendrickson did suggest Paxton's hand and did nick his hand during a reshoot. He said it looks fake when they sped it up the first time, so he did it again. Yeah. And apparently he had spent a lot of hours drinking the night before he did the reshoot. Yeah. Anyway. And Paxton improvised many of his lines. Huh. He actually, that was just the one I mentioned. Yeah, he sold this role to James Cameron. Like
Cameron!
He approached him like in an airport or like on the set or something, and like sold himself as the role for this comic relief.
It's not the first time I've heard of that though. Didn't he sell himself on was it the set of The Dark Backward? Like they didn't believe that he could be like gross or something?
Possibly. I mean,
like there was a movie that we did with Bill Paxton, and he convinced them that he was the right person for the role.
Well, he thought when he auditioned for this movie, he thought, "Oh, I went way over the top. I went too far. I was too big," and they actually loved it. Dark Backward, he thought he could have gone bigger.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I wish he did.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. Honestly,
I don't know if that's humanly possible.
Yeah. He is a caricature of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I love. Let's throw to the catch-all.
Yeah. And that's there we go.
Get back in the house, damn it.
My God, Mike, what happened?
We'll figure it out during
the catch-all.
Catch-all.
The likelihood of catching a rogue spaceship floating out into space is less than 0.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
A salvage crew is not going to happen to notice your ship and pick you up. you are lost forever if you're floating in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Go ahead, Bob. Oh, wait. No, hold on. I wrote, they never found the island Tom Hanks was on. And that was on Earth. Just to bolster my point.
That's a very good point.
I'm gonna go before I forget. The mech suit that Ripley was in. So
yeah,
she was licensed to run one of those suits when she was like back on whatever planet they're on.
Yeah,
that was 57 years ago. If
that was like a nap.
No,
for her.
no. That's not the thing. I'm saying I have been driving for about 32 years, right?
Yeah.
If you sent, as a 16-year-old, if you put me in a car of today at 16, I would have a little bit of trouble finding my way around. And that's only 32 years. This is 57 years, and this is a mech suit. I feel like she wouldn't have understood how to use, or they just really suck at, or not suck, but maybe that kind of technology didn't progress like everything else did.
Yeah, so it's one or the other, but that's a common trope I always bring up, where like they hop on a motorcycle or in a car and they know exactly where the key's gonna go, like where the wipers are, where the turn signals. Yeah, that's common.
I understand that she was licensed to control one of these things, but 57 years, you'd think they would have some updates.
Yeah,
maybe not.
Okay, so Rob, I hate to grab a toothpick and burst Bob's cum bubble here, but the problem is that she actually had the mech suit licensing after it was the only job that they would give her after she destroyed the ship. She had been doing that. The timeline may be a little fuzzy, but she was working as a mech suit engineer
I'm
for
sorry,
like 3 weeks before.
Maybe a little fuzzy.
See, I didn't see it that way, Chris. I saw it as she woke up.
I'm telling you, that's the.
I saw it as she woke up. They weren't giving her work, and then she said, "Let me get that. I have a Class 2 authorization." Like as if they. So I thought that was her first time on screen using one.
Right, and so maybe she has an old suit certification, and they allow her to use it, but like she knows how to use the modern mech suit because she was using one before they sent her off on mission. It's not that the mech suit was the same over the stretch of 60 years. It's that she was using it right before they launched her off because it was the only way she could make money while she was like under investigation or something.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to grab that toothpick on you there, Bob. Go ahead, Rob.
What I do like is normally with sequels, they always show some time has passed. And in this sense, a lot of time has passed. But in Ripley's reality, it was like she just like lights out, woke up, and like boom, it picks up exactly where the first like in her mental timeline, it picked up a second after it left off. She woke up thinking she was just under alien attack, and then they wake her up, and then she goes about her business. I like
it's
that.
just like sleeping. You know, you go to bed, you wake up in the next morning, and you don't realize unless you wake up a few times overnight that anything happened to you. You just were asleep the whole time.
She must have really had to piss when she woke up.
Evacuation
Austin Powers.
Evacuation complete. Give evacuation complete.
Great scene.
It's on me, right?
Yeah.
On the subject, the process of days of recovery would be realistic for 57 years of hypersleep. And I thought the daughter death was kind of a nice touch, although they had to make her die at 68.
Mm-hmm.
Which, right now, your life expectancy as a woman is higher than that. So in 31, 42, or whatever the fucking year it is, you'd expect her, like, that's a young death. So why not make it like 77 years of hypersleep or 87 years just to give her a long and lasting life? But I liked that touch. Go ahead, Bob.
It's because of the mech suit. Anyway, the rest of my things are just discarded fact or no fact things. So there's some good stuff here. So, the original Alien was released by Fox, and using Hollywood accounting methods is how it read on the page I was on.
Hollywood accounting
methods? Fox declared Alien, the first one, a financial loss, even though it had profited over $90 million. And they were sued, and it was settled in early '83. The result being that Fox would finance the development of Alien 2, but was not required to distribute the film. So,
jeez,
yeah. So Fox. So this movie, even though it had a decent budget, it was all based on a lawsuit from the original movie, which kind of sucks because the original filmmakers weren't involved. That's what kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It sounds like a tangled web of used condoms and slushy that happened to come out to aliens. But go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so they did some retconning in Aliens that you may not be aware of. When they're recalling the deaths from the very first Alien film, like the green text on the screen with the pictures of the deceased, it's revealed that Lambert, the other female on board, is transgender.
Christopher Lambert.
Yes.
Raiden died.
No, the chick, the short-haired lady, Lambert.
Yeah.
So subject is a Deathspin convert at birth, parentheses, male to female. On the readouts when they're recalling the investigation of all the deaths on the Nostromo in the first one.
Yeah.
Really?
And through work I learned that all their write-ups that they show on that screen behind Sigourney's Ripley, it indicates that they did not have traditional gender roles because like 90% of them were trans. So pretty progressive retconning for 86.
Very much so.
Well, yeah, I mean, in 3100 or whatever the year was, that might be true.
And that explains why
that is a standard.
That explains why she's a fucking badass.
Yeah,
because she's taken on a more masculine role.
She's
without
actually a man,
outwardly saying.
Jeez.
No, but that's why some of the guys are like kind of,
Just kidding, obviously.
Some of the guys are more submissive, and she's more authoritative. So it's because they did not have traditional gender roles. It was just like whatever you wanted to be, you can kind of like just do. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. No, I agree. That is cool. Good fake out nightmare.
Yeah.
Good fake out nightmare sequence because you also meet Burke. So like you meet Burke and then you get the nightmare sequence for Sigourney Weaver when she wakes up. But they blended the line where you like meet Burke and you don't know if that's exactly how his first interaction with Sigourney Ripley went down.
Yeah.
But you get that he is like, an important character, number one. And because they established him, you're kind of taken off guard when the alien pops out of her chest. And then she wakes up. I will say, and I know this is a knock that Bob cannot wait to hit this episode with, and there's too much slow-mo.
Not enough Dutch angle, though.
I didn't even mention it.
But there is. There are scenes that are high tension that would just be well served to not be slow motion, just so you can watch the action as it unfolds. And they slow mo it, and I'm like, there's literally no reason other than dramatic effect slow mo, and it doesn't make it more dramatic. It actually makes it like it gives you more time to process it, which actually makes it less effective, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I amazingly didn't notice that at all.
Wow.
The alien screams are baboon shrieks altered in post.
Hey, how about that?
How about that? That's cool.
I wouldn't have guessed it.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Go on, Rob.
This is a prime example of the fuck he's good or goddamn she's good trope.
It is.
Because there's never one moment where I didn't believe Ripley's like capabilities. She just owned it. Like when I think I was texting you guys last night, when she's given a weapon she's not familiar with, she asks for a crash course on how to use it. If it were Steven Seagal, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, you pull the second restrictor pin, and then it's just blasting time, baby." You know, she didn't do that. She needed a lesson.
Also mentioned that I know how to fly a helicopter.
I own one of Kurt Cobain's Guitar Tech's guitars,
and I strapped a grenade launcher on it.
Yeah, no, I like that. It was believable in the context of like their in-universe fiction.
Yeah. Hey, can I get a bit of oxygen?
A balloon, oxygen balloon, yeah.
She mentioned, so I'm going to do a little detractor here. I have a number of them, but she mentioned psychometric probation, and that is a bad combination of words that took me out of the film for a minute. Psychometric probation sounds like something that's not real, and I hated it. But they definitely cut out the family car trip scavenger sequence in the regular runtime of the theatrical version, because I had never seen that before, and I think the director's cut was properly chopped down when they took that out, because we didn't need it.
Okay. You mean the unabridged
James Cameron
version of the film?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bob.
So Vasquez, this part should belong in most offensive. Vasquez was played by a woman named Goldstein.
Yes.
Who obviously is not Hispanic.
The Jews.
It was her first feature film role, and she spent hours at the gym while unemployed, gaining 10 pounds at James Cameron's request. Go ahead.
James Cameron!
And then Goldstein wore dark contact lenses and an hour of makeup to cover up her freckles and darken her white skin to play a Chicano character. And she studied Mexican-American gang interviews to develop her demeanor and accent.
Funny you should say that. I've got shit on that.
So yeah, they could have employed a Latino actress
for a fraction of the cost while still being paid the same amount of money, because it seems like they invested a lot of money in this character.
But
yes,
they did not.
That is what I call holly washing.
It's Vasquez, you said? Holly washing Vasquez.
Vasquez, yeah.
Vasquez. All right. I got some stuff going on, but like I'm going to we gotta get these abusers in. So abuser number 1.
You don't have to be sorry. It wasn't your fault.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
That's a South Park reference, baby.
Yeah, she sounds like the lady from Poltergeist, too. They mostly come at night. Mostly.
I don't remember the episode, but Cartman absolutely does that. They mostly come at night. Mostly.
It might have been the wacky molestation adventure when they use the M word to get their parents taken away, and then they run the town by themselves and have carousel, and they sacrifice people at the John Elway statue.
Probably. Yeah, it's probably that one. She keeps insulting the cat, which I actually like, because I kind of mentioned it already, so I'm gonna go on to the next one. But it's a funny dynamic, and it continues in the first one. And Bob, to your point, the shapeshifter Vasquez is the ginger mom in T2.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yes. Isn't that fucking crazy? I called her a shapeshifter because how can you be the same person? She's the mother. She's the stepmom in Terminator 2 to Edward.
Right.
Well, you know,
James Cameron
white American
is a master of special effects.
Yeah. Well, he employed the early contacts.
Yeah.
To get that get on. But anyway, go ahead, Bob.
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
He had a hands-on approach to filmmaking and often modifying setups, such as lighting the scenes himself to fit his vision. without involving the unionized crew. So the crew was union, and he was like, "Fuck you guys! I'm lighting the scene myself." And it did not come. It did not do well. I'll save this for my next catch-all. But yeah, he did not get along with the crew at all.
Yeah.
Ouch.
All right. Hey, my turn.
Yeah.
Come on, you bastard! Come on, you too! Oh, you want some of that? Fuck you! Class. You want some of
Poor
this?
Hudson.
Fuck you!
So good, dude.
Good night, and there goes Bill Paxton's character.
Yeah.
We would need to mention the loss of Hudson. I was hoping he'd make it. You know, he was. I actually thought it'd be a better film if Hudson made it, because he seemed like the one who was doomed to die the whole time.
I was hoping, like, you know, Ripley would be like hanging from something, and like after you thought he was dead, like he'd reach down and like grab her hand and pull her up. Like,
yeah, a little redemption, but they gave it to Bishop instead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Here's a direct quote. "Have you ever been mistaken for a man, Vasquez?" From Bill Paxton's character. And she says, "No, have you?"
That was good. That
was actually stolen from an old movie.
Oh, no shit. But it was badass.
It was.
Nonetheless.
It was stolen from a very old movie. But like, I forget the name of the characters, but I read that.
No.
I also thought that knife game that they played was like just a cool sequence to have the android do that. But you mentioned it already, so I'll just pass it on to you, Bob.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. So James Cameron, he told the crew, okay, this is a direct quote. "This has been a long and difficult shoot, fraught by many problems, but the one thing that kept me going through it all was the certain knowledge that one day I would drive out of the gate of Pinewood Studios and never come back, and you sorry bastards would still be here."
That's par for the. That sounds like him.
Lowering the bar.
Yeah.
Damn.
I have one more after that, so I'll let you go, Chris, or whoever has to go next.
Yeah.
So many more.
I think it was in Aliens. I watched them so close together last night, and I may or may not have been high.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same way, except for the high part.
But the slapping of the cornbread, like, I should have like cornbread.
That was in both movies.
That was in both movies. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It was mentioned in both movies how they don't like the cornbread. Yeah.
Yeah, but like she was, it was with the commander. It was like with one of the higher ups, and she just like smacks it out of his face. She's like, "Oh, you guys she doesn't like cornbread."
Continuity.
I like that.
Or continuity.
Continuity. Yeah.
Continuity.
Your turn.
Hyperdyne system they mentioned, is that an homage to Terminator? Because Hyperdyne is a Terminator term.
That's Cyberdyne.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
Okay. James
Cameron
described most of his crew as lazy, insolent, and arrogant. But Bill Paxton called the crew's work impeccable and their attitude more relaxed than the American crews which he was used to working with. Thought that was interesting. Yeah. So kudos to Bill Paxton once again.
America's hero, dude.
He tends to come out on top, you know?
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
That's my last one.
I'm gonna pass the torch to you, Chris, because I said all I wanted to say, but I'll riff on you if you got if I got a counterpoint.
Yeah, same.
The illegal alien Vasquez jokes didn't age well now, and it's only 2024. Imagine 3112.
Yeah, now that we established they're pretty progressive on like the gender rights front. Yeah. Doesn't hold up under scrutiny.
The captain is all but consuming his cigar, which I kind of love.
Yeah.
He is just like chewing on that thing. He's halfway down it like it's a beef and bean burrito. And I just fucking love it.
I agree.
The classic badass loadout trope where they're like showing you all of the badass Marines with their like guns and shit.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I don't know. There's something like just intriguing and a little, like I just get a little.
Are you a fan of Archer or not?
I haven't watched any Archer, so I don't know.
So there's an episode where he's got like stage 4 cancer, and he finds out his doctor's been swapping out his chemo drugs with like sugar pills, and then he decides to go on a rampage, but like he's smoking a shitload of medical marijuana, trying to find out who swapped out his medication on the black market. But he finally gets the real chemo medicine, and he starts taking it and gets violently ill because the chemo makes him sick.
Yeah.
Oh.
But like there's one scene like mid rampage where like it shows him like doing the suit up, like the belt, like the chain mail, like the chain gun bullet, and the knives in the boots, the knives in the sleeves, and then like it zooms out and it's just like one guy, and he's just like, Are you scared? He's like, 'cause I could undress and suit up again, show you all my stuff. Meanwhile, he's like high as shit and is throwing up everywhere while doing it. That's what those scenes. Like, ever since that episode, all those scenes always remind me of that Archer moment.
Yeah,
that was Terms of Enrampagement or something. I think it was called.
Oh, I mean, sounds about right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out. Who knows?
Right.
I'd argue that 38 simulated drops is worth something. I know that Commander Gorman is a newbie, but then again, he falls apart anyway. So what do I know? I like the early found footage style that we have here. The little cameras on their person, and you get to reference each one, and they have the name on it. I like that found footage idea. I don't know how it happened before this. I'm not sure, but so I don't want to call them the originators, but like I really like the found footage element.
You know what I do like? They don't call them chest bursters or face huggers or even xenomorphs too often.
No,
they
never.
establish what they are like once or twice, and then it's up to the audience to remember what they're called and roll with it.
Yeah,
I like that.
They don't call them that ever. Yeah,
they said Xenos once or Xenomorphs once, I think.
Oh, did they? I didn't even catch that.
In passing, I believe so, but I could be mistaken because I was edible, was swerving. So
I feel like the motion trackers were like kind of an homage to Jaws. Which it probably wasn't. I just love Jaws and I love this movie, so I'm gonna marry the two. Bringing Ripley in,
they were an homage to the original movie.
Well, yeah, but Jaws.
Okay,
for me.
But that was Steven Spielberg, not
James Cameron.
Yeah, but I mean, Spielberg, great job. Bringing Ripley into the compound seems like a violation of their agreement to me.
Yeah.
They're like, you're going to stay away from the combat the whole time. And then they're like, come in here. We're pretty sure there's no aliens here.
That was something that happened.
We're not 100 on that, but we're pretty sure.
We're not 100.
So I have an issue with the director's cut. So apparently in the director's cut, they showed Ripley getting reprimanded for destroying the original craft. Like there was no evidence of aliens, so you are demoted. And apparently that wasn't in the original. And then not only like a couple scenes later, she was like, "Can you come look at these aliens that we found that match up what you said happened 57 years ago?" Like it just seemed like such a dichotomy. Like I didn't like it.
You're 100% right.
And I do think that the director's cut was wrong. I think they should have left that scene out because it made more sense for them to like be ambivalent and then say, you know what, let's trust you for a second, instead of just saying outright, you're wrong. Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
really, like Bob, I agree, because it's like they already know about them.
Yeah,
because there's a government program to like recover them.
Yeah,
basically, or at least to destroy them, and then Burke's idea is to bring one back.
To
like launder it, basically. But
and I hated that scene, and then I read later. I read later that was only a director's cut scene. I'm like,
Right.
director, you know who you are.
James Cameron.
What are you doing? That was amazing timing. I like that they say "stay frosty."
Yeah.
It's just like their way of being like, be aware, but like it's just cool like lingo that they made, and I may or may not have said it a lot when I was 13.
Yeah.
I was traumatized by the people stuck onto the walls.
Oh, that was good practical on that.
Yeah,
that was good.
Especially
Good
the one
effect.
that was alive.
Yep.
Yes.
But on the flip side, I always felt like the acid blood was a little bit much for me.
Yeah.
You
Pretty
know?
cool though.
Like
They handled that so well in the original. They handled that so well.
Just like like they're hard to defeat already. We don't need them to also have acid blood.
Yeah.
The pilot's assistant, his name was Spunkmeyer.
Yeah, it was.
Thought I'd bring that up. They sell you really hard on Suspicious Bishop. I already talked about this, but I thought it was really good. I did not like how Sigourney Weaver's Ripley was like, go to sleep and don't dream to Newt.
Right.
Yeah. Just don't dream. Oh, you have terrible nightmares that keep you awake. Every 40 minutes, you wake up in a cold sweat.
Just don't do that.
Just don't dream. Yeah.
It's like when you're having a panic attack and they're like, relax. You're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Bishop gives the gun back when he's in the tunnel. They put him in the thing, and he's like, what am I going to do with that? Like, they give him a pistol. He's like, if I'm being attacked by 40 aliens, I'm just done for. So, like, you could have the pistol. You keep it yourself.
Yeah.
Also, Ripley's stupid for threatening to nail Burke to the wall before he's detained. And then she takes an immediate, very vulnerable nap. Immediately after threatening him.
Yeah.
It's very true.
She's like, I'm gonna throw you in the gulag, and now I'm gonna go put myself into sleep state. Hudson says after the aliens to stop attacking. Okay, this was my favorite line of the movie, but I wasn't sure it was worthy. But Hudson, who is Bill Paxton, they just to set the scene for you, they have the automatic guns that are shooting in the hallways that they sealed off. And the guns like just barely run out of ammo, but the aliens retreat. And Hudson's like, maybe we've got them demoralized to just be like a total douche. Like obviously he's just being a douchebag, but the line was so fucking good. I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
Hey, did we really leave Newt in a room alone in one of those facehugger fish tank rooms?
Yeah, they did. They did indeed.
Yeah.
All it takes is for Newt to wake up and bump into a table and there's a facehugger in the room all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Don't look at the welding. I thought that was a nice detail. So Ripley is like, don't look at the welding spark because it's too bright for your eyes.
Yeah.
And that was just cool that they mentioned that because they didn't have to, but it's true. You shouldn't be looking directly at that. That's why they have those shields in front of their eyes. I really like the they're above us drop ceiling reveal where Michael Bihn's Hicks character like opens the drop ceiling with his gun and there they are like crawling at you. Like I thought that was super effective. Pipe logic problems though. There's giant ventilation systems.
Bishop slithering through the vents. It's fucking amazing.
Well, I mean, that was a more believable tube than when Ridley and Newt are like literally running through the ventilation system.
Yeah.
Right. But I can't, I've never terraformed a planet personally, so I don't know how big your ventilation systems need to be for that. So I guess I can't really, we'll just chalk that up to future.
Yeah.
I've got a couple more. I'm so sorry. Could you live with yourself leaving Newt behind? Because I couldn't. But then again, there was only 15 minutes.
Yeah. Did she leave Newt
Yeah.
behind though? Because I think it was just like she
No,
got
no,
separated.
she-
and she's like,
no,
I'm going
no,
back.
she-
Yeah.
She's like, there's 15 minutes. I'm gonna go fucking find her in this factory, and she like goes down an elevator shaft and then finds Newt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I couldn't. I would also try to save her because it'd be too fucked. Like I would never be able to live with myself knowing that she was impregnated by one of these things, and then an alien burst out of her chest, and she was like, 9 years old or whatever the fuck she was.
And
I couldn't live with that. So I
it's one
would
of those
try.
things- It's one of those things. I read an interview with like a bomb squad technician, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Aren't you ever nervous that like you'll snip the wrong wire?" He's like, "No, because there's two outcomes: I save the day, or I don't have to worry about anything ever again. I probably won't even see it coming." Like if
Yeah.
you're on a planet
You
that's about to
would
be
never know.
nuked, like you do the heroic thing, and then you turn to dust, and you're done. Like it's like you really don't have much to lose
You're
in that
dead
context. Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, 15 minutes is way too tight. But the movie magic time distortion there makes it almost work, Like there's
Yeah.
20 minutes left in the movie. She's got 15 minutes to get the job done, and she like kind of
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
The mama alien taking the elevator was hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
They should not have done that. That was one too many, like, alien, like, at the point where she goes up the elevator, she should have won, in my
Yeah.
opinion. The mama alien understanding the elevator and then, like, crouching into it and then, like,
Yeah.
pressing the button to go all the way up to the lobby. Somehow is, like,
jamming all the buttons so they're stuck in it for a longer amount of time. They're
Stops
in
at
every
level
single
15,
floor.
14, 13, 12. And lastly for me, you're not holding on to anything strong enough, and your bones, your fibers, your ligaments, nothing is strong enough for you to resist the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just when she gets sucked out, her arm is going to be ripped off, and she's just sucked out into the cold, dark, just like the dark backward, if you will. Just the way the alien mother was clinging on to her ankle, she would also have been ripped into the nothing. So let's throw it now to what we're watching.
Sure. I wrote down problematic space vacuum rippy-bits.
Yeah, I think I said that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Something like that.
The best
Or
opinions
Ripley bits.
about things to watch are definitely
Mine, do you hear?
All right, what are you watching?
What am I watching?
Yeah.
So
Rings
I've
of
been watching a
Power,
lot of-
season 3.
Still in season 2. They're only releasing one episode at a time.
Okay.
Every Thursday, you should check it out. But I've been watching a lot of World Series of Poker on YouTube. I don't know why. I'm just in a poker place right now.
Yeah.
I will also say that there's these short, like YouTube shorts on this guy who was ranking death row inmates' last meals.
I love that. Jay Slavin.
I
He's
don't
doing
know.
like
I don't know his name.
He's doing like S through D tier, and he runs through their crimes and like recreates them.
Yep.
Yeah. That guy.
I'm clicking on them all the time. I don't
They're
know
amazing.
why. But mostly how I've been spending my free time, to be honest with you, is on Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. It is a game that came out in like 2000. The Westwood Studios game. I've been looking for it my entire life. EA has it. You can pay $6 a month to play it. If you were a Red Alert Command and Conquer 2 fan like I was, then you can play it for $6 a month. I've been spending countless hours devoting myself to literally nothing on my laptop that you see here, the one that I'm looking at right now. Countless hours lately just doing nothing. Literally nothing to contribute to anything worthwhile. So I'm sorry to my wife and my kids. I love you guys. I just have to. I have to defend America against the Soviets. And that's what's happening. So in my life. So why don't we throw it to Bob? Go ahead, Bob. What are you watching?
I'm going to say what no one else has said so far. Alien. I watched the 1979 Alien. It is so freaking superior. It's better cast, better writing, better suspense. Better premise. It's an original. It's not a sequel. And as much as I don't love Blade Runner, bravo to Ridley Scott, because Ridley Scott I didn't love Blade Runner at all, but I loved this movie. Yeah, I thought Alien was just such a great overall film.
Yeah,
both in sci-fi terms.
It's better.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah,
it's better.
Agreed.
Like you said, Chris, we probably should do a redemption prequel, original something.
Should do the double feature. The
double
T1
feature,
and Alien.
I don't love Terminator 1, but I like Terminator 1 as a concept. I think it was
Terminator
very original.
1 is so good.
Yeah,
Terminator 1 is like a horror movie, but it's an action movie.
It was very original and very innovative. I think, like, I didn't love T2. I didn't. I think you might remember that. But but I thought the original.
I'll never forget it.
I thought the original just had a lot of good ideas, and I thought the sequel was a good action movie.
The best opinions about things to watch.
Wrong hotkey.
Are mine.
Go on,
says Bob.
Go on.
No, I thought the sequel was a good action movie. I really did. I think T2 was a very good action movie. I'm just not an action movie guy, so it's just not my thing.
You like original concepts over like entire universe building. You just don't immerse yourself in like alternate universes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I think I have you pegged there.
With the exception of Lord of the Rings, I really like that trilogy.
Oh, you're my man. All right, you're redeemed. Fuck Terminator, fuck Aliens. I don't care. Lord of the Rings is where it's at. I'm with you.
Go ahead,
100%.
All right. Two things. One, Nikocado Avocado's redemption arc on YouTube because it's fucking batshit insane. For those of you who don't know, he's a man who we all thought was eating himself to death, but for the last 2 years he's secretly lost all the weight and had a villain reveal, like soliloquy, and apparently we've all been duped, like on an Andy Kaufman level. So I've been following that and all the fallout and all that. But for actual movies, there's a movie called 12-Hour Shift. It's on Hulu. Came out in 2020. It's about an opiate-addicted nurse working her 12-hour shift who has a side hustle stealing organs from the morgue to sell on the black market. Her cousin, who likes to keep her drinks in the cooler with the kidneys, forgets to put the kidney back in the cooler when she goes to bring it to like the crime lord.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, you need to bring me a new kidney in an hour or I'm going to fucking kill you.
Oh.
So she comes back and disguises herself as a nurse to try murdering somebody so she can get another one. And it just becomes it gets much worse comedy of errors for the next like 90 minutes. And it gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. It's fucking hilarious. It's incredibly violent. It's incredibly like both the women, like very misguided attempts to try making things right while making things worse every step of the way.
Right.
Strongly recommend it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, let's throw it to back credit names.
Okay. I hope my prediction's right. Where did I put it? I put it in bumpers. I put it under aliens. Where did it go? I have so many soundboards for this shit. There we go. Alien names.
Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, Wally Wheeler, H.R. Geiger, Peter Dickering, Carl Tube, Louise Head, Paul Wybrow, and Tip Tipping.
Sigourney should have been number one.
Sigourney.
What kind of fucking
she
name
was
is
number
Sigourney?
one. Yeah, Sigourney's a really fucking weird name.
That's a weird fucking name, dude. Nothing wrong with it. It's just weird. Yeah.
Tip Tippin. That's a fucking, like, imagine going through life with the name Tip Tippin. Anyway, we have nothing to compare, so we're not doing an offensive minigame. Because nothing about this was offensive, except for all the things that Bomb
except for Vasquez.
For us
just
just now.
Vasquez.
Yeah,
Goldstein.
But anyway, we're not comparing it to our last good movie because that wasn't offensive. Let's throw it now for the results on Aliens. We'll do the sort of movie comparison.
Yeah.
But, Master, you have 6 wives. Why can't I have one for myself?
Because it is
time to compare the movie.
best of its kind, plus 34.6. That is proof. It is best. And 34.6% above its competition. Pitch. What was it? Was it a Rob 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Oh, okay. What works well? It works really well, I thought.
Yeah.
Should we say kind of, because like Bob is a detractor? It works kind of well.
It worked okay.
I'm gonna rate kind of okay. Dialogue. Hey, you know,
For an
got the job done.
For a mid 80s action movie, I'd say it was above par.
For an action movie, it was fine.
Yeah.
Hooah! That's what I'm gonna write. Production, the practical effects were what made this movie stand out from others, according to Bob. You're right, Bob. Practical effects were amazing. How about acting? How'd you feel about that? Pretty good, except for the little girl who was really not
above par for a mid 80s action movie plus Bill Paxton.
So speaking of the little girl, she was English. If you didn't notice that from her accent that appeared once in a great while, except once in a great while, she also appeared American in her accent. So Chris, that goes right to your argument of her being bad. But she's a kid.
Yeah,
she's a kid.
She wasn't trained properly.
Demerits. You got any demerits? I don't.
No.
Vasquez.
I don't think so. Vasquez.
All right, Vasquez.
Holly washing Vasquez.
Holly washing Vasquez.
There we go.
I'm gonna rate Vasquez Holly wash. Rob, why don't you plug us? Send it to Bob for his last word. But before you do so, I'm just gonna tell you next week we're watching Vanilla Ice in his first feature film. This is Cool as Ice, our first episode of season 14. Can't wait. Episode 391, season 14, Cool as Ice. Check it out. We'll see you next episode. Rob, plug us and send it over to Bob for his last word.
www.theworstmovieevermade.com. We're on streamers. We're on YouTube. Subscribe. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. You could vote on the polls like Chris just announced, and hopefully we won't get any more Vanilla Ice movies. You could email us. You could interact with us by commenting or, just talking, shooting the shit, responding to our stories, doing all that stuff. YouTube, every Sunday. You go on YouTube, hit the subscribe, hit the notification. The episode that we're recording right now on Tuesday night at 9:55 p.m. Central Time, which is future time for you guys, 10:55 p.m. It goes live. Late on Tuesday, early Wednesday, depending on where you are, when you go to bed, when you wake up. So, this episode's pretty much hot off the press when you hear it. And then on Sunday, you get the video version with all of us staring into the camera. And then
Smash
also
that subscribe, or
you can check out
it, whatever
the other movies we've done that were directed by
James Cameron,
like Terminator 2. Bob, what's your
soon
last
to be
word?
Titanic.
What's your last word, Bob?
Last word is mech suit.
Mech suit.
Suit.
All right, guys. See
Bye,
you
Jelly School.
next week.
James Cameron.
Cool as Ice.
It's uploading to the drive right now.
Fuck yeah.
I found a copy.
I can't wait to watch it.
Apparently,
was that yours,
Mystery
Chris?
Science Theater did a thing with it, so hopefully I don't get that copy.
Who picked Cool as Ice, Chris or Bob?
Chris.
Bob.
No, Bob, he didn't master
Bob
disguise, right? No.
I did.
Yes.
I did master.
No, you didn't.
I know Chris's lying face now. Now that I can see him lying.
I thought Good Movie Week was put us in good moods. Bye, Joe.
Yeah, what happened?